Is set to back calls by the European Union for an inquiry into the origins of COVID-19. Prime Minister Scott Morrison's initiative for the probe has drawn criticism from China, prompting backbencher George Christensen to hit back, labelling the country a bully.
It's a virus that spread from China around the world, claiming Australian lives, making us sick and crippling our economy.
It would seem entirely reasonable and sensible that the world would want to have an independent assessment of how this all occurred.
Other world leaders have asked for the same, angering Beijing. Now the European Union will push for an inquiry.
In order to know more what's happening and in order to prevent that this can happen again, maybe the wet markets are part of the problem.
And Australia will back the EU.
What the Australian government is doing is completely unremarkable.
China says it's political and hit back using trade, proposing tariffs on Australian barley and banning Australian beef after this from their ambassador.
Maybe the ordinary people will see, why should we drink Australian wine, eat Australian beef?
Despite efforts to calm backbench voices, they're growing.
They are bullies. They use their trade as a coercive tactic.
But it will require sensible diplomacy and sensitive approaches. And we are not going to see that from the likes of George Christensen.
A diplomatic distraction, but the Prime Minister is signalling his message to Beijing.
We respect their lines as we expect our lines to be respected, whether it's on our foreign investment rules or our rules around technology. Those things are not to be traded, ever.
The relationship with China has long been a diplomatic dance, but the Australian government won't be backing down as our largest defence ally steps up its feud with Beijing. Donald Trump's man in Canberra accusing China of gross negligence, obsessive secrecy and brazen dishonesty over the virus he says China first covered up while exporting it to the world. And the world is getting louder in wanting answers. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.